The TradingFinder website offers the ABCD Harmonic Pattern Indicator for download on various platforms. From this section, you can download the indicator file for MetaTrader 4 and MetaTrader 5 platforms and run it on your chart. Additionally, traders can read this page to learn about the functionality and operation of the indicator. From the Navigator section, we select the indicator file and run the indicator by dragging the file onto the chart. Once the indicator is running on the chart, it begins to identify and draw the alternate ABCD harmonic pattern on the price chart. Traders who are looking to identify this pattern on the chart can use the alternate ABCD indicator to detect it, and by utilizing the potential reversal zone, which in this harmonic pattern is considered as point D, they can identify the PRZ and enter either a buy or sell trade in the market. In the Settings section under Input, there are options available for us. In the first part, we can set the minimum wavelength for drawing the pattern, which is set to 5 by default. This is based on the zigzag indicator in this section. The zigzag indicator has 3 parameters, and here we can adjust the first parameter of the zigzag indicator, while the other 2 parameters are hard-coded with periods of 3 and 3 in the calculations. In the next section, we can set the number of candles to review the past and harmonic conditions, which is set to 50 candles by default. For example, in this section, the indicator examines 50 candles backward from point D and looks to identify point C. Then from point C, it moves 50 candles further back to identify point B. And finally, from point B, it examines 50 candles backward to identify point A and ultimately draw the pattern. In the next section, we can enable or disable the display of the harmonic pattern lines. In the next section, we can enable or disable the break pivot status, which is set to false by default. If this section is set to false, we can specifically specify the distance between the harmonic pattern's pivot breakout and the breakout pivot in the section below, which is set to 100 pips by default. However, if we set this option to true, the indicator will then start detecting harmonic patterns that also have breakouts on the chart and will display them for us to see in real time. Bye. By using this option, we can effectively utilize this section as a helpful filter, allowing us to easily identify and display those specific patterns that have more suitable and appropriate ratios for us to consider. As we can clearly see in this particular section, by carefully changing the distance ratio between the harmonic pattern's pivot and the breakout pivot, we are able to identify patterns that are, in general, relatively more suitable and accurate for our analysis. In the next section, there is the shift option, which is set to 2 by default. This means that the dependency of the candle and the identification of point D will move forward by 2 candles, and after that, the harmonic pattern will be analyzed. Whereas if I set this option to 0, the indicator will analyze the harmonic pattern as soon as the D-point candle is formed, and then display it. In the next section, we can enable or disable the display of bullish and bearish harmonic patterns. In the next section, we can choose the drawing style of the pattern based on 5 options: solid, dash, dot, and dash dot dot. In the next option, we can adjust the thickness of the harmonic pattern lines, which is set to 1 by default. If we set this value higher than 1, the indicator will automatically display the drawing style as solid. In the final section, we can change the color of the bearish harmonic pattern, the color of the bullish harmonic pattern, and finally the color of the harmonic pattern labels to any color we like. Just make sure to note that in the MetaTrader 5 platform, the first 2 options are different for us. In MetaTrader 5, this option is based on pivots, whereas in MetaTrader 4, it is calculated based on candles. That means in the MetaTrader 4 platform, starting from point D, it looks back at the previous 50 candles to identify point C. But in MetaTrader 5, it is actually based on pivots, so if I set the value to 10 here, starting from point D, it will carefully look back at 10 pivots in order to identify point C, and then from C to B, from B to A, and finally, it will automatically draw the pattern for me just as expected. The next point you need to pay attention to is the values that we set in the first and second options. The larger we set these values, the patterns that are identified will have longer time frames and will generally be larger patterns. On the other hand, if we set these numbers to smaller values, shorter-term patterns will be identified for us, and it will display relatively more suitable patterns. Well friends, we've reached the end of this indicator tutorial. I'd be happy if you could please share your comments and suggestions with us in the comment section.